Let me close the other windows so that we can have an exclusive view of this one. So this is a student, he's done this leading change management assignment, an automated table of contents separately smartly turned out. He needs to have an executive summary before the table of contents. Sorry, excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. So we have this, he needs to have now, like every time I have to tell this, there has to be an executive summary before the table of contents. If you go through the lectures, you'll know. Introduction. See, you all know, you have been in those lectures as well. Please refer to previous lectures. You all know what should come in an introduction, yeah? Which should at least come in an introduction. You all know that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, don't tell me you don't know that. The company background, Nidal, yes, look at the previous lectures and the context and the, what do you call this, assignment objectives and learning outcomes, blended, yeah, telling what the assignment is seeking to achieve technically, yeah, what the assignment is, on what.
Yeah, I don't think you need to keep repeating this.
Yeah, this is of course done several times. Structural guidance is there, have it more aligned. Okay, I'm giving general feedback, yeah, have it more aligned with the structural. This word aligned does not mean copy paste. This word aligned means aligned, yeah, aligned with the structural guidance. Um, Available in the module materials section. Okay. Okay. Corporate strategies and management impacting VUCA. No, sir, it's the other way around. Please refer to the previous lectures. It's the other way around. It is the VUCA environment, the pandemic-infused VUCA environment. VUCA accelerated or increased in the business environment because of the pandemic. And that VUCA increased, enhanced VUCA environment, the pandemic-infused VUCA environment, affecting the corporate strategies and the management practices. And we need to do an evaluation of that. Practices of the chosen company, which in this case is Meta. Guys, has Facebook formally changed its name to Meta, or is it still Facebook? Or is the company name changed to Meta and the product Facebook remains the same? It's Meta now. Okay. Okay. So impacting environment. Meta is advertising services directly, indirectly by data clients as the company relies on growth and development clients. Market causing interest. Okay, okay, sir. This is as the company relies on the enormously. This is a somewhat useful information, yeah. This is useful information as the company relies on the growth and development business clients. Good. Marketing by causing the advertising from this is last one to the first quarter of the last quarter to the first quarter of 2020. This is fine. Okay, year on year. Advertising revenue portfolio at 2020. So to Google, Facebook is 17%. Advertising revenue growth. Okay, good. If I thought he had just written revenue, because revenue means something different, and advertising revenue means something different. Advertising revenue is basically one of the revenue streams. Revenue can be a broader term. That's financials. Okay, effects of change in corporate revenues, corporate strategies, view environment of Meta. Effects of changes in corporate strategies of Yuka. Again, same comment as above. Wait a second. Adverse effect on the corporate Meta filtered its VUCA environment. Where do you see the? I mean, where do you get this understanding and comprehension from? This is not right. This is not right. Ali Chauhan is there. Yeah, you need to please revisit the guidance notes, announcement section links, previous lectures, and even all the previous lectures actually, all of them. That's now how it is. The environment is VUCA because of the pandemic, necessitating, resulting in environmental shifts, triggering factors necessitating change within the organization. That's how the flow is. Volatility, rapid flow data, scores are high degree of volatility. Okay, this part is basically if you look at the structural guidelines, so management practices. Okay, fine, I get your point. So you're going through the lens of VUCA, how each element of the VUCA framework actually is affecting the management practices. So this is one management practice is affected. So immediate need for an unplanned transition to filter the valuable data. Okay, okay. Uh, Time as a large customer filtering. Fair enough. This can have further layers actually. This can have further layers. Increased during COVID-19 as a loss. Wait a second. Put a full stop here. See, this is your evaluation, not the evaluation of the change itself. This is more like we'll come back to it. This is just the effect on. So where's the effect on the COP management practice? How if this section is dedicated because this is how the section has been designed. Uh, where is the effect on the? How does this affect? Did this affect the corporate strategy? If you go through the previous lectures, you'll understand what this feedback means. How did this affect the corporate strategy? And or meta and guys, do you understand what I've written? Do you understand this feedback note? Anybody? Basically, what I understand from this section is trying to effect of changes. So it's like how the VUCA environment has affected the management practices and the corporate strategies of Meta, right? That's the first part, the first line. Evaluate how the current VUCA environment has affected the corporate strategies and the management practices of your chosen company, right?
Yes, that's right.
Agreed, agreed. Okay, thank you. Now is done it through like VUCA, not collectively but one by one. So because of volatility, this change happened. Because of this, that's how the section is flowing. Because of volatility, this change happened. Because of doctor, didn't you say that this component use bullet points? Uh, as in the changes are in point 1 and point 2, 3. Bullet points, Nidal,
I think I,
unless
th- I think that depends. If you've got a few things you're just pinpointing as bullet points, then fine. But if you've
yeah,
got one item that you're trying to elaborate and explain, then it won't work as a bullet point. So this works fine. I would say.
yeah, no, not. In fact, bullet points are discouraged in such an academic setting. In this document, recommendations. If I as a student, I'm preparing that I will not go with the bullet point. I don't advise that. Even the recommendations. Yeah, there is this corporate strategy assignment of yours. You haven't gone through that yet. Yeah, you haven't gone through that yet. Corporate strategy, guys. Why
I
is the
have.
class so?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
You have.
I've done corporate strategy and governance. Yeah, yeah. That
Okay.
was the first module.
And
Yeah,
you have. Okay, you have this recommendations and action plan, right?
correct. Yes.
Even that recommendation action plan is not advised in
No, you can't.
bullet
No, you
point.
can't. It needs to be a properly formulated
Exactly.
recommendation and action plan. It needs to be descriptive. It
Yes,
needs to make sense to
it
your
can be,
environment.
yeah, the format can be tabular, the format can be of any sort, any choice, but not bullet points. So bullet points in the dollar are discouraged unless there is a list you are giving. Let's say you give a list of anything 1, 2, 3, remove all bullet points and giving a list. When you're giving a list of the change, well, not changes like this, man. You're not listing the changes actually. You're telling um, there are changes and then there is evaluation of those changes. So changes is basically affect how the corporate strategies, management practices have been affected, and then we evaluate that effect. So it's basically evaluating the change itself technically. Like if you understand that, yeah, it's evaluating the change. Try avoid like given paras like this, avoid bullet points unless there is something mandatory. I can take a look again at your assignment, but avoid bullet points unless it's mandatory or it's needed. Next class, most likely, this announcement is going to come shortly, and most likely your next class is on Monday, I suppose. But do check that in the announcement section. So what he's trying to do is, by Monday I will be ready. Yeah, okay. What he's trying to do is, how did this affect the corporate? So again, this part is the change part, how the organization change took place because of the pandemic. Yeah, at Meta. And then there has to be an evaluation of that change, like I did with the other document when you started the class. So this whole basically the actual task requirement, and of course this has to be supported with reference research. Three, all of this has to be like, this is just the effect. I understand it's good information, somewhat good information. This part could have been more elaborate. A large number of customers of advertising agencies withdrew, negative effects on their sales and demand for their products. Um, some sort of quantification, for example, just to, again, there are levels in the rubric. There's a level where you're getting 40 marks, there's a level where you're getting 50 marks, 60, 70, 80. Yeah. So like this is at some value point. If you want to enhance the value, yeah, quantify if possible. And I'm sure it is possible, uh, but it requires further effort. X, Y, Z number of any statistics, any facts, figures, stats, etc. Yeah. I hope this helps. Yeah. I hope this is helping all of you.
Yes.
Okay. Immediate need for executing multiple unplanned decision changes in the corporate. Okay, thank you. Manoj, have I reviewed your draft as yet? Or was it Riva whose draft I reviewed earlier?
You have reviewed Riva's draft, yes. That was quite early on.
Yeah, yeah. And that was, I remembered that draft because of that touchless technology point. Sent, oh, okay, Manoj, not yet, not used yet. Okay. Immediate need for execution of multiple unplanned decision changes in the corporate strategy. Again, this is generic. Generic. This is relevant, but this shows some understanding and knowledge. But will you get the marks for analysis and criticality? Will you get the marks for communication? Will you get the marks for those application of theory? So do check on the previous lectures. Do try to realign, have it realigned in light of that guidance. And again, that same, how did this affect the corporate strategy? Actually, this is a relevant point, but again, better it is. I mean, the quality of argument and research has to be improved here. This is relevant. This is evaluated. Wait a second. Multiple unplanned transitions in the corporate strategy. So it would be great if you could actually have it elaborated a bit. Have it elaborated, have a flow, have it elaborated and flowing. So I would say, for example, giving you a guiding note here. Environment.
Hassan, you're muted. It just in case if you don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for flagging that. I muted myself because there was a bit of background noise. Yeah. So I'll unmute myself in a short. No, that's not working. Yeah, I thought it was because this part is in an evaluative tone. Yeah, but the rest of it renders it void because these changes, unplanned changes in the corporate strategy, led to the complexity of business and management operations. No, that's not how it is. That's not how it is. This complexity in the environment leading to changes in these changes in the corporate strategies and management practices, and that we need to evaluate how we need to evaluate the change. Yeah. Well, for that you can say as for the nature of change. Yeah. When you're evaluating, let's say you've done this, good evaluation. You don't write this word evaluation here. I'm telling you, this is how you do the evaluation. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Evaluation. Yeah. Evaluation of these effects. That they represent, okay, multiple unplanned transitions and shifts in the, okay, that's the nature. That is one of the way you can evaluate things. Yeah. Nature is unplanned, multiple unplanned transitions. You can say they were quick. Again, I'm repeating that for understanding purposes. Like, you know what you can check an evaluation. Yeah, frequency, extent, nature, scope, quantum, pace, etc. Yeah, these are the things you can check for evaluation. This is how you can evaluate a change. So no, this doesn't work. Uncertainty of the future revenue of metal at ambiguous clientele and okay, no, so on the businesses. Please recheck against the assignment brief and consultation the corporate strategies. Managing the way well planned. Okay. There is some useful information here, but how does it represent the how the approach change approach has been influenced? That requires how the business approach to change has been influenced. Change management process introduced from at a part of months. Again, redundant information. Save your word count. Don't put in this redundant information. You already know what it is. As I before the supply should work from home. He has levered the furniture. These are some good points made actually here. A bit of restructuring required, yeah, and other fine tuning as well. But as far as the points are concerned, they represent research done, and these are good points. And carry out their convenience purpose. Okay, the change of policy. Unless substitute matter, that is oculus is one of the top manufacturers of. So you okay? Bridges model of change. Okay, culture of all the regulation of the general model. So has been discussed as not change to current focusing more on the human and person side of the endings of short and neutral soul. Go with the HR aspect again. And that's not that's the HR kind of change you're talking about. Just one change in which the remote setting was established. That's the HR aspect. Actually, we are more interested in you should go with a change that's a change in the corporate strategy or change in the management practices. Although this does is I mean this has relevance, but this is more on the HR side. And again, the application of the model needs further supporting research and linked to the context. See, even you know you've not referenced this one. Like, how do you know this was done? The new beginning, resistance management model. No, sir, this is not required. No. Why are you putting in this resistance management model? No, this isn't required. This, of course, is relevant to the coursework too, not coursework one. Team should for its manager detailed understanding of the use of this new these might be some relevant, yeah. These are some they have some degree of relevance as recommendations, but they need to be linked to the context. The link to the context is missing. And again, this is again all of it is revolving around the employee aspect. Think more from an organizational business aspect, corporate strategy. Think of corporate strategies. Corporate strategy by disturbing its nose. This line represents a very weak understanding of the underlying concept. And again, the weaknesses within the assignment they are reflected in the. So you can Ali, you can refer to the previous lectures, and you can recorded lectures, and you can refer to the guidance notes and the links. So and you can make those changes, and there is some effort made. I can see there's some effort made, which is appreciable, but you need to make these improvements, and once you make these improvements, you can achieve a you can achieve a good draft. Okay, references are there. Conclusion, recommendation section needs to be improved, and it needs to be realigned with the context. I'm going to email this to you, and I'm going to tell you that you need to revisit even in the email. Okay, guys, you still there, all of you?
Yes, we
Yep.
are.
Yes.
So let's take a look at some other assignment. Okay, this